Morning Village kids, good morning, and it's great to be with you today. It's great to be able to learn more about Jesus in our stories from Meals with Jesus, and I really hope, just like me, you've been enjoying those stories. They're great, aren't they? Because they allow us time to be able to think about what Jesus did for us, to learn more about the people that Jesus used to meet with and eat with, and allow us to explore more about those stories with our families and our loved ones and our friends. Before we look at this week's story, what I want to do is just remind ourselves of where we've been and who we've been following Jesus with and who he's been eating with. So if we remember, of course, Jesus met with lots of different people, and lots of people that would have been thought of as being bad or evil and sinners. We had Levi, that scumbag who Jesus went to eat with. And we had the lady as well who washed Jesus' feet with the perfumes. You remember that story? And these are all people that the Pharisees and the religious leaders at the time thought that Jesus should not be meeting with because they were unworthy. They were sinners. And this week we're going to learn about another sinner, a man called Zacchaeus. But before we do that, I wonder, have you ever been lost? Have you ever gone somewhere and maybe made the wrong turn and lost your mummy or your daddy? Well, I have. And it was very, very scary. I was about 7 years old at the time. And I'd gone to a place called the Royal Welsh Show in a town called Carmarthen, which is in West Wales. It's a beautiful part of the world. And I went there with my parents and my younger sister and my elder brother as well. And we'd gone there to have a look at all the stalls and all the fun attractions and the rides. And I needed to go to the toilet. And so my dad took me to the toilet, and he stayed at the bottom of the stairs to go up into the toilet. And I went in and went to the toilet, and I came out of the toilet, and my daddy wasn't there. And I looked left, and I looked right, and I looked up, and I even looked down just in case. And he was nowhere to be seen. Now, when you've been lost, how have you felt? Because if you're anything like I was really scared. I was scared because somebody that I needed wasn't there for me. Now, what happened on this occasion was there were two doors into this toilet, and I'd gone in one door and I came out the other door, and my dad didn't realise there was another door to the toilet, and so he was stood by the first door wondering where I was. And I wonder how he felt. How did he feel about the fact that his son had got lost? Well, I tell you, he was as worried and scared as I was, probably even more, because this was a big place. This showground was the size of 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 Wembley stadiums, the football stadium. Huge area. And to try and find me amongst thousands and thousands of people was quite difficult. Now, I'm sure, like you will have had from your parents, I've been told by my parents, whenever we went anywhere, always go and find some help. Look for somebody that can help. And they took me to the reception and they put out a speaker announcement on the speaker. And so my parents came and got me. And we were very happy when we were all together. But I was lost. And I needed somebody to find me. And today we're going to learn about Zacchaeus, as I said. We're going to learn about Zacchaeus, and we're going to learn about how he was lost and how Jesus came to find him. So let's listen to our story now, and you might recognise some of my helpers. Here we go. Zacchaeus is a taxman, but Zacchaeus is hated because he works for the enemy. He's a traitor because he collects taxes for the Roman Empire But Zacchaeus is greedy. He's a thief, and he takes more than he should. And he loves money. Zacchaeus is a sinner. One day Zacchaeus heard that Jesus was coming to town. And Zacchaeus, just like everybody else, wanted to see him because he'd heard so much about him. But Zacchaeus was very short. Very, very short. He was so short, in fact, that as he tried to get a view of Jesus coming through the town, amongst all the crowds, he couldn't see. He tried to get to the front of the crowd, but because he was so small, he just couldn't get there. And as he asked people to move out of the way so he could get to the front of the queue, the crowd turned around and told him, "Go away." He had no chance to get to the front. He would not be able to see Jesus at this rate. But then he had a brilliant idea. The crowd wasn't going to stop him from seeing Jesus. Zacchaeus found a tree, a sycamore tree, and he thought to himself, "Now this is a good idea." So Zacchaeus managed to climb up the tree, slowly but surely, so he could get a good look at Jesus. Now Zacchaeus wasn't expecting Jesus to pay any attention to him. Zacchaeus was one of hundreds and thousands of people that were watching Jesus and were waiting for him. But Jesus knew where Zacchaeus would be. Jesus knew who to look for. Jesus was looking for Zacchaeus because Zacchaeus was lost. So Jesus stopped at the tree. He called out, "Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus, come down. Come down from that tree. I'm coming to your house." Zacchaeus couldn't believe it. He climbed down from the tree so that he could take Jesus back to his house with him. Now, I wonder what the crowd would have thought about that. Well, they were not happy. They shouted, "He's a sinner. He's a scumbag. Why are you going to his house?" But Jesus reminded them, "The Son of Man, that's me, came to find and save the lost." Jesus, the Son of Man, came to find and save the lost. Zacchaeus was lost. He might not have known it, but Jesus did. Jesus found him. And because of the change in Zacchaeus' life, he went straight away and repaid everybody all of the money that he'd taken. And not just repaid it all, he gave them 4 times more than what he took in the first place, because he realised that he'd done wrong. Well, thank you to Faith and Kayla and Elijah for helping me tell the story there of Zacchaeus, a man hated by everybody around him but loved by God, a man that was lost but found by Jesus. And remember, girls and boys, that Jesus came to find us as well, to find us when we were lost and to save us. And so what we'll do now, I'll pray, and then we'll have a song from Awesome Cutlery to remind us how God showed us his love. So let's pray. Dear God, thank you that even though we are lost, you come and find us. And God, that you sent Jesus to find us and to save us. And God, even though we are sinners, you still loved us that much that Jesus would die for us. Amen. Have a great week, kids. Bye.
his love by sending us his own son. Jesus died for us. God showed us his love when Jesus died for us. While we were his enemies, God showed us his love. How do we know what love is? God showed us his love by sending us his own son. Jesus died for us. God showed us his love when Jesus died for us. While we were his enemies, God showed us his love. While we were lost and without hope, you rescued us with your great love. While we were lost and without hope, you rescued us with your great love. While we were lost and without hope, you rescued us with your great love. While we were lost and without hope. Why should we love each other? God showed us his love by sending us his own son. Jesus died for us. God showed us his love when Jesus died for us. While we were his enemies, God showed us his love. God showed us his love when Jesus died for us. While we were his enemies, God showed us his love. God showed us his love. God showed us his love.